Welcome back to the Deep Digger Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, my other host right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts.
Yep, and we're doing our weekly update of the top 25 in college football. This is what came out with the new AP rankings. Ohio State sitting atop. Miami moves up to number 2 after they handedly beat Florida. Penn State and LSU hanging around, and Georgia rounds out the top 5. Couple interesting matchups we have coming up because Penn State Oregon is going to be a huge litmus test for these teams. LSU Ole Miss is very hyped. Ole Miss not sure what they're going to do at quarterback, but Lane Kiffin, his daughter, is dating an LSU linebacker, and he says take the over this week.
This is the week. There is always a week in college football where we all look at each other and we're like, okay, don't schedule anything this day. I seen someone tweeted like, I believe Selena Gomez is getting married this week, and someone else quoted it and was like, can't make it. Georgia's playing Alabama this week. And yeah, no, that is the vibe this week. This is such a huge marquee week. We got, as you mentioned, Penn State versus Oregon. That is a heavy hitter of a game. Penn State, welcome to college football this year. We missed you. Glad to see you back. This is like all the things. The James Franklin can't win a big game. Drew Aller, I don't know if you've seen the discourse on, did we choose the wrong quarterback? Bo Prabula has gone to Missouri and is just lighting it up and is looking magnificent. Drew Aller has looked lackluster in the warm-up games that he has played to this point. All of that can be silenced if they get Oregon coming across country. It's at Happy Valley. Like, you can shut all of that down here. But Dan Lanning is popping another Zin in his mouth, just chomping at the bit, waiting to just beat Penn State again. This is a marquee matchup. LSU versus Ole Miss. This is a barn burner of a game. You are 100% right. Lane already said, take the over. And this is a matchup that I am so interested in. And this might even be like the I don't even know if this is the marquee matchup. I think Georgia versus Alabama is the marquee matchup, if we're going to be honest. But yeah, LSU, Ole Miss, this is two distinct styles up till this point. LSU has not, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the news that Garrett Nussmeier pretty much confirmed the rumors that he has been injured the majority of this season. He is now feeling better and getting over that. But they have not been good on offense. They've been kind of really held up and propped up by their defense. And you've got this Ole Miss team with Trinidad Chambliss coming in. Lane Kiffin, I don't know how he does it. He just finds quarterbacks.
And I will add, Austin Simmons, was injured, and Chambliss came in. He is on the Heisman watch list now. He is their backup quarterback, and in a year where nobody's really standing out to come and claim this award, the backup quarterback for Ole Miss is on the watch list to win it. And so that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. LSU, if they want to be a legit contender, I think needs to win this game. Another thing, Ohio State only minus 300. The spread is 8 points against this Washington team. So Vegas really, giving a lot of credit to Washington in this one. And yeah, you're right. Oregon, Penn State going to be huge this week.
Yeah, that's a sleeper game. Yeah, Ohio State, they should be favored in this game. And you're 100% right. Vegas is 100% respecting Washington. They are respecting Jedd Fisch. They are respecting the travel that Ohio State has to do. And they're respecting Damon Williams. I mean, realistically, this has been a Washington team that's kind of flown under the radar to this point. I don't even think they need to win this game to command more respect than they've had the rest of this season. I think that's going to be a closer game than people think. And now let's get to Georgia, Alabama, dude. What can we expect from this game? This is going to be a fucking barn burner, right?
I mean, it should be an awesome game, but it's a game that I fully expect Georgia to come out with the win. Do you think Alabama has a shot at this? I think what I saw from Georgia in that Tennessee game showed a lot of resiliency. It showed a lot of maturity. I think Gunnar Stockton has grown a lot just in these few weeks as a quarterback and a leader. I'd fully expect Georgia to cut out on top in this one.
And Kirby Smart is doing a really good job this week of doing the classic Bill Belichick, where you talk up your opponent. He said that Ty Simpson is the hottest quarterback in college, all of college football coming into this game. You know that he is going to have this defense playing like their hair is on fire. Can Alabama bounce back from that ass whooping they took against Florida State? We know that they've done it. They've looked better since then. Now this is the real test. Yeah, you got Wisconsin. Yeah, you got nobody state. You can do it against Georgia here. Have you went back to the drawing board and Kalen DeBoer, hand up. If he does it, then I was wrong on this. But I'm with you. I think that Georgia is too good. I think that Kirby Smart is too good. I think that they close it out on him.
Yeah, let's look further down the list. Number 7, Oklahoma, going to be without John Mateer for 3 weeks. They have an off week here. They get Kent State next week. I don't think this should be too much of an issue for them. Florida State, still undefeated. They get Virginia this week. Number 9 got Texas A&M in a huge matchup with Auburn. And then to round out the top 10, Texas gets a bye this week and Florida next week. No Illinois. Want to make that point here. No Illinois in the top 10 for the first time this season. But how do you feel about this rounding out the top 10?
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be – I know we had talked about Texas A&M Auburn last week. I think coming off of that, again, weird game with Oklahoma, some of the rules, some of the, hey, Jackson Arnold freezing up, they have a chance to kind of put Texas A&M back into their place coming off of that huge win that they had a couple of weeks ago. And Texas A&M has the chance to prove, like, we are not the Texas A&M everyone expects us to be. We are not going 8-4. We are going to take a chokehold on this conference and just keep it. They have to go out there and prove something against this Auburn team that, I mean, realistically, this is a good Auburn team. I think that the roster is talented. I don't think Jackson Arnold is there yet. I don't think that he has shown that he can take over games, that he can be the go-to guy when put on the spot. I think Texas A&M, you go out there and you stomp them out. You have to.
Yeah, these are two teams that I think are going to be on the fringe of the playoff race. And this is one of those games this season that determines who gets in and who is on the outside looking in. Texas, I mean, you have Arch Manning now flexing on Sam Houston State players. They'll get a bye. It's going to be interesting matchup with Florida next week to see which team can basically save their season. I know Lagway's facing an injury now too. And not Texas, not save their season, but Florida, can they save their season? Texas, can you just establish yourself as a team that's going to win consistently in the SEC?
And that Florida defense is still really good. I mean, we're going to talk about it next week. That Florida defense is still really good. That is still going to be a very tough test for Arch Manning. DJ Lagway in a walking boot, crazy. We'll see. People are saying red shirt, bro. Red shirt. Get out of there, yeah. Red shirt.
Indiana, two teams that have been really impressive this year that I don't think we had a lot of hype for coming in. Specifically, you with this Indiana team is 4-0. They're at number 11. They'll face Iowa this week. Texas Tech, they're still undefeated. They'll go against Houston next week. And then we have the 13 Ole Miss matchup with LSU. Number 14, Iowa State, still undefeated. They'll get Arizona this week.
Yeah, I mean, if there's two teams that really had a coming out party this past week, it was Indiana. It was Texas Tech. Hand up. I was wrong about Indiana. I really thought that they would have a step down this year. I think that having a lot of transfer students is something that, like, I had a little bit of a red flag on, and everyone was like, oh, well, Kurt Cignetti is used to transfer students. Look at what they did last year. Last year, it was all transfer students from JMU. He is truly doing this, and he's doing this his way. And that was a good Illinois team. That was a veteran Illinois team that doesn't make mistakes, and you went out there and you pants them live for everyone to see. That was definitely a coming out party for Indiana, and they have the runway to continue to prove themselves moving forward. I think their stock is only rising. Looking at Texas Tech, This has been a soft finesse team for the last few years. This has been a team that everyone does not take seriously. This was a team that went out and spent a bunch of NIL money to get as many people on the defensive side as they could. And people were like, okay, yeah, is that really going to make a difference? Are they even contenders in the Big 12? I was thinking that Devin Dampier last week was going to have a breakout game and just kind of prove himself against this really tough defense. And this was a Texas Tech team that just said, no, they were tougher than Utah. Yeah, it was close for a good amount of this, for a good amount of this game. Realistically, they made Utah their bitch. They
Yeah,
went out
the
there.
fourth quarter was impressive from Texas Tech.
They did something that a lot of teams do not do. They made a Kyle Whittingham Utah team quit. This was a defensive line that was going up against two tackles that are pretty high. They're going to be rated high first round draft picks. And they made them look soft. They were in that backfield the whole time. Dampier had no idea what he was doing. Texas Tech is looking nasty, and you've got to be on the lookout for them. They are obviously now moved up as the Big 12 favorite. And as you're continuing down the season, you've got to be like, I don't want them. I wouldn't want to pull them in the playoff.
Yeah, I want to give a little bit of flowers to Iowa State here because they opened the season in Ireland against Kansas State and win a tough one. They beat Iowa, who we were really high on coming into this season, and hasn't panned out exactly. But they look like, I think, a team that can run the table with the rest of their schedule here. They're gonna face a ranked BYU later in the season. They have Arizona State still, TCU, and towards their second to last game against a surprising Kansas team. I really like Kansas, but they have a shot to legit run the table. I don't see a team left on their schedule that I don't think they have a shot at beating.
Yeah, and that was an Iowa State team that, coming off the Ireland game, both them and K-State had no bye week. So yeah, like honestly, yeah, Matt Campbell just does what Matt Campbell does there at Iowa State, and they always have solid teams. And yeah, kudos to them. I think that they're gonna blow out Arizona this week.
At 15, we have Tennessee going against a rowdy Mississippi State team this week. Georgia Tech at 16. I honestly feel like they could be higher on this list, but we'll see if they just keep winning, stacking up these wins. Alabama at 17 with the matchup with Georgia. 18, we have Vandy, still undefeated on the year, and potentially getting dates with Tate McRae. And then 19, Michigan versus Wisconsin next week. And to round out the top 20, Missouri, still undefeated, will get UMass.
I mean, two really big wins. Michigan beats Nebraska this past week. I mean, and they did it without throwing the ball, really. Once Michigan gets some receivers in, I think they're 1 year away from truly, truly competing. And if this is going to be the worst that Bryce Underwood looks, good luck, Big Ten. Good luck, college football in general. This team was insane. They came to play, and they just beat a Nebraska team that was super hyped on the road. And so, like, kudos to them for that. And again, if this is going to be the low point of this Michigan run with Bryce Underwood, I'm so excited to see what the high points look like. And Missouri, man, that game against South Carolina was back and forth for a while there. They end up pulling it out at the end. Bo Prabula is just an elite athlete. To go with the 1-2 punch at running back that they have is crazy to defend. And on top of that, he's a very good thrower of the ball. You've got to watch out on that front. So I think Missouri is going to continue to climb this board as we go through the season. I like both of those teams, actually, Michigan and Missouri.
Yeah, I'm actually really high on Georgia Tech. I thought that Temple, while they are still a building program, they never gave up on this game. They're fighting to the very end, literally scored a touchdown with 4 seconds left. But Georgia Tech, I hope that they run the table all the way till Georgia, their final game of the season, and it just sets the stage for a Georgia Tech Georgia rematch where last season Haynes King and this team almost beat Georgia. and it came down. It was like 8 overtimes. It was one of the most fun games of the whole college football season. I hope that that's where we land with this Georgia Tech team. And Vandy, I'm just taking a look ahead at their schedule to see what it could look like. They have a tough road ahead because they have Alabama, LSU, Texas, Auburn, Tennessee still on there, and Missouri. So the fact that they've been able to win the games that they're supposed to win and put them in a position to finish with a good record in the SEC, it's been a solid year for them. I just don't know when the train gets off the tracks here.
Yeah, the one thing I would say, and again, going back to the LSU Ole Miss game, is LSU is people are saying a bit of a paper tiger at this point. The Clemson win doesn't look as good. The Florida win is getting worse by the week. Like, they haven't been great on offense. Like, if they can prove and get back up to where they need to be offensively and beat this Ole Miss team in an arms race, then yeah, okay, great. This is going to be one hell of an LSU season. They figure out with Garrett Nussmeier and his injury, and they're ready to rock and roll. And they still have that defensive side of the ball clicking on all cylinders. They're going to be hell to pay. But if it's not like that, then you're looking at this Vandy team and you're like, hey, that's one less, the schedule is looking a little bit less hard there. Hey, like we can win a couple that we're not supposed to. So that's the one thing is Diego Pavia, this Vanderbilt team, they are a little frisky when it comes to that.
Yeah, let's round out this top 25 here. USC, they're going to get Illinois this week. Is it going to be a bounce back for Illinois, or is it going to be more of a solidification of USC as a legit contender, the Big Ten, finally with Lincoln Riley?
This is going to be a good game. I know for the majority of college football, USC is flying under the radar right now, but you're 100% right. Lincoln Riley is looking good. Jordan Mailata is a sleeper for the Heisman this year, especially in a year where we are seeing John Mateer is going to be out for the next 3 weeks. The front runner is Carson Beck. Carson Beck, I think they said that Miami's going to play like one game in the next 20 days because they go bye week, then they go one game, and then they go bye week. So it's going to be pretty crazy. If they can pull out a win there against Illinois, then that just props them up. And this is a nationally televised game, one that people is on everybody's radar to kick the day off. That's going to be an amazing win and something that really gets people more excited about the USC Trojans again.
Yeah, to finish off the 25, we have Notre Dame at 22. They have an interesting matchup with Arkansas this week. 23, we got Illinois in the game with USC, and then TCU and BYU in a couple of Big 12 matchups. Notre Dame versus Arkansas, when I was making my betting picks for this week, that was a game where I quickly wanted to go, oh yeah, Notre Dame. But then I became hesitant because what exactly is this Notre Dame team? Is it such a slam dunk to think that they beat an SEC's team in Arkansas like that? Like, I don't know if it's a for sure thing.
I think Sam Pittman is going to be coaching for his job. Obviously, I think that he's a dead man walking. I think you losing the Memphis game is a huge dagger in the heart. If he can rally the troops, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Taylor Green is such a good quarterback. He is under the radar, one of the top 5 SEC quarterbacks. I think I'm rolling with Notre Dame in this one. I don't think they're scared of the Arkansas Razorbacks. I would go Notre Dame just because you know what you have on the offensive side of the ball. They still got to figure it out on defense, but I think that in a shootout, I think I'd feel comfortable with it. The one thing is, like, if Taylor Green gets hot and we know Arkansas can run it up. You've seen what they did against Ole Miss. You've seen that they can, put up numbers and put up points. So I think that's their best fight, is to just be like, hey, you know what? Max Holloway, you stand in the middle of the ring and we'll just swing at each other. I think that's going to be the formula for an Arkansas win.
Yeah, and a couple of the teams outside of the top 25 here.
Oh, hold on. Before we get to that,
go ahead.
This TCU versus Arizona State matchup is low key. Arizona State must win. Like, if Arizona State wants to be a contender in the playoffs still, they need to beat TCU, and that is a tall task. This is a huge game for Arizona State. This is also a big statement game for TCU if they can go out there and get this win. And then you look at BYU and Colorado, both of them are still trying to put a name on this season and figure out what they really are. Can they both figure it out? I know that Colorado was doing the will he, won't he, Ross Rachel thing with Caden Salter. Are they really going to figure out what they're going to be doing offensively? Or is it BYU comes in here, knocks them around, and we're back to we don't have an identity anymore?
Yeah, Colorado has potential to be a disaster this year if they can't figure out enough to just win enough games to get by.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, well, I mean, all this to say what I wanted to say before, there is a load of talent just outside this top 25. I feel like there's a lot of teams you could have made a case for to be in this list. Auburn, despite having that tough loss, I mean, you get a couple of touchdowns called back that were supposed to get called back. Maybe they're in a different discussion this week. Mississippi State has looked good this year. USF, Memphis, I think it's a little shocking to me that they're not up there, and they've looked impressive. Maryland is another team that's still undefeated that I'm really high on this year. They have Wisconsin questioning their whole life and program over there because they lost. Yeah, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see once these teams start getting a lot of conference play, how much more can you justify keeping certain teams in the top 25 when other teams just keep winning?
Yeah, and I know like sneaky UNLV also kind of fits that mold. They've been like, oh, okay, kind of hit or miss, but they're still racking up the wins. They're still doing it, and there's something to be said about that. I think you're 100% right. There is a ton of teams just outside, just chomping at the bit, waiting for the conference play to start. So some of these teams start cannibalizing each other so we can shoot up the rankings. I'm very excited for this. I think, again, this is, if not the biggest week on paper, one of the biggest weeks in college football for this season. Gear up for it. It is going to be good football the entire day through.
You know, Memphis has the longest winning streak in FBS right now.
Dang.
Shout out Memphis.
I think Illinois was tied for them, and then Illinois lost, right?
It was a 3-way tie. I don't remember the other schools, but yeah, Memphis still got it going. But yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. How do you feel about this week's list? And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow along because we do this every week. So we'll see you next time.
Later.